Kia ora and welcome to Sam's Take, a series about entertainment news and reviews with me, Sam Ralstone. This week I'm getting into the sequel to 1986's Top Gun and a highly anticipated movie for me, Top Gun Maverick. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, Tom Cruise returns as the hotshot pilot Maverick, who is summoned to be put in charge of training a group of Top Gun graduates for a specialised mission. Among them is Lieutenant Bradley Rooster Bradshaw, played by Miles Teller, the son of Maverick's late best friend Nick Goose Bradshaw. The supporting cast is rounded out by Jennifer Connelly, John Hamm and Glenn Powell, with Val Kilmer also returning as Iceman. Now when this film was announced I had very mixed emotions. I need you all to understand that Top Gun is one of my favourite movies of all time. So much so that the iconic theme music has been my alarm wake-up sound for over 10 years. I know what I'm about, and thus I was excited. However, I was terrified that this was going to be a nostalgia bait cash grab, which, in fairness, a lot of decade-in-the-making sequels can be. And I just didn't think Top Gun warranted a sequel. I'll happily say that walking out of this movie, I didn't feel like that at all. Don't get me wrong, this movie didn't need to be made. But I'm glad it was. It is a wee bit nostalgia baity, but in a good way, with almost shot-for-shot recreates from the first film. For example, there is another beach sport montage. And I'll be honest, it ain't no playing with the boys. But the references are tasteful, well executed, and don't penetrate the entire film. Thankfully, it crafts a new and compelling story that adds to the original. Tom Cruise glides back into the role of Pete Maverick Mitchell. He hasn't lost his wit, charm, and bullheadedness, but he also lost his wingman Goose. And really that's where the story lies. Mav's life after Top Gun and how he reconciles with the loss of his best friend and now pupil's father. Cruise has always been good at what he does, so there was never any doubt that he was going to nail this on every emotional level. Miles Teller's Rooster certainly isn't the main character by any means. More of him would have been welcome, but what we do get is emotional and engaging. Teller plays him with such intensity and fire. One of the other trainee characters that caught my attention was Monica Barbaro'S Phoenix, the only female pilot trainee. I was worried she was going to be nothing more than a token and a box ticked, a way to show that things had progressed since the first film and women were on a level playing field. In my opinion, her role only barely scrapes above that, but regardless, a good performance. Another honourable mention to Glenn Powell's hotshot Hangman, who really is just Iceman from the first film, but his smarminess is perfection and he adds a nice foil that makes for multiple decent moments. As for Iceman, Val Kilmer returns in a small cameo after battling throat cancer. I'm happy with how his condition was handled. His role was poignant and meaningful, rather than just another crack at a reference to the original film. Jennifer Connelly plays Penny, Maverick's new love interest. I enjoyed how they brought back that hazy, dreamlike romance feel from the first film, albeit with a different character. But it does feel a little squeezed in and doesn't have a lot of substance behind it. The romance between Kelly McGillis and Tom Cruise in the original had time to breathe and develop, because she was around for a lot of his scenes. And don't get me wrong, this is Top Gun. It never professed to be a hard-lined love story, but if you're going to put it in there, make me believe it. Despite Connelly matches Cruise's wit and sharpness with a performance that has a lot of noticeable thought put into it. Arguably more than good performances though, is good showcasing of flying. And it feels so authentic. It's immersive and thrilling. Cruise is in there doing it, and it shows. The way the camera is used, mixed with the editing, makes you feel like you are in the cockpit feeling every twist and turn. And the thing with Top Gun is, the first film set the precedent that main characters could be killed like that. So while it's epic when things go right, it's terrifying when they go wrong. The cinematography by Claudio Miranda is stunning and innovative. As I said before, the immersion is insane and just needs to be experienced on the biggest screen you can get to. The score, much like the first film, elevates the story to a completely new level. Every piece of music creates the pinpoint accurate feel of every scene, whether that be elation, epic scale, or emotional heart. Also mixed with the immaculate sound design, again adding to that immersion, the rumble of the jets is so crisp. Every technical aspect of this film shows that those behind it wanted to create a spectacle, a piece of cinematic art that is made for a theatrical experience. Gratefully, behind the spectacle is a good and at times tragic story of a man who has known only one thing his whole life and has staked his entire being and identity on it, stayed in it to honour himself as well as his lost friend, and coming to the realisation that it all might be coming to an end. One criticism I do have is that the dialogue at times can be quite cringy, but Top Gun knows what it is. It's always been camp, excessive and aware of its cliches, and that awareness is what makes it good to me, and not every aware film gets that right. And I do still think the title is unimaginative, like adding Maverick doesn't enhance it or tell me anything new. But overall, this movie did live up to and exceed my hesitant expectations, so it's a huge recommendation from me. Thanks so much for watching this episode of Sam's Take. I'll see you next time for more entertainment news and reviews.